Hi everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use Caruso steam rollers, which is one of my very favorite products for my hair. I really like to have my hair curled, but it's very damaging to your hair, and with the steam rollers it actually uses steam instead of heat. So I've heard that it's actually beneficial to your hair and can even add in some moisture, and I know for me, after I take them out, my hair definitely feels healthier actually. It seems like that steam kind of infuses some moisture into your hair. So let me show you what it looks like. You have a steam pod that looks like this. So there's the Caruso brand, and there's a little pod that the steam roller actually sits on top of. You want to fill this with distilled water, not tap water. So I just have really inexpensive distilled water from Market Pantry from Target, and it's like $2 for a huge jug. And you want to fill it up to the fill line, plug in your steamer. I'm going to plug this in really quick. It only takes it about probably 30 seconds to start producing steam. And then I keep my rollers in this bin. I have a lot of extra ones. If you get the kit, I got mine on Amazon. I think it was $37 for a starter kit, and that comes with about 5 or 6 different sizes of the rollers. So I have everything from petite, which is super tiny, to small, and then they have medium, large, jumbo. So I kind of have all the different sizes just depending on the length of my hair at the time. And this is what they look like. So this is what the roller looks like. This is the sponge part of it, and then it also has this cover. It's really important when you're after you put your steam roller on to also put your cover on, because the cover actually gets warm and creates its own kind of moisture inside that just helps with the overall curling. And my hair is short right now, so you just set it on the top of the pod, and you want to let it sit there for at least 10 seconds, but no more than 15 seconds, because if it gets too wet, it's going to be too wet and basically not have a good curl. So once you take it off of there, you're just going to wrap your hair around. I start about in the middle, and then I hold there and just roll the rest up. Okay, now after I took that pod off, I immediately set the top on, which the top, there's a little ledge that it can sit on. That holds it in place, and the steam goes into the hood of your holder here, which actually helps, again, with more moisture. So the more you can get, the better. And then it just clicks right in there. And it actually holds really well. It's extremely easy to use. So I'm going to pop another one on there. And you can kind of feel, so the sponge, the smaller ones are going to heat up faster. You want to make sure that it doesn't feel wet. You want it to feel really hot and moist, but not wet. If it's sopping wet, you know it's been on there for too long. Okay, so I just took it off. I'm going to put this on so that it can steam up while I'm doing this. So again, I start about right here. I curl tightly. You want to pull your curl tight, hold it right there, and then just roll the rest up. Sometimes the ends come out a little bit, but honestly, in the end product, I don't feel like that really is a detriment. I kind of like how that looks. It's not so perfectly coiffed and curled, so that can actually add a little bit of character. One thing I do have to do, though, is sometimes my hair is very sensitive and easily kinked. So I will show you when I'm done here, when I take them out, how I flat iron the parts of my hair that get a little kinky on the top. In the back, I basically am doing the same thing. Hold your end down, hold it down as you curl. The direction of your curl is completely up to you. I typically do them this way, but if you wanted to, you could put them vertically. Just depends on the look that you're going for your own hair. And it doesn't really take that long. It only takes me about less than 15 minutes to put these in. It's not too bad.
Folks are blessed who make the best of every day, living by their own philosophy. Everyone beneath the sun must find a way, and I have found the only way for me. I don't believe in fretting and grieving. Why mess around with strife? I never was cut out to step and strut out.
Okay, now for these last two front sections, I typically take one of my jumbo rollers, and I like to roll them away from my face. And I didn't mention in the beginning how large of a hair chunk to take. Again, that's really a preference thing. If you take a bigger chunk of hair, obviously it's going to be a little bit more looser curl. The more that you do, you're going to have more tighter curls, and there's going to be a lot more of them, obviously. So, I mean, I usually take a chunk around, I'd say, an inch or so. That's just my personal preference. I have tried several different ways, meaning sometimes I take a lot more hair, sometimes I, do a whole bunch of different little curls. Just depends on kind of what I'm going for. And I have placed these pretty sporadically. Sometimes these front ones want to lay like that, but you can usually kind of maneuver them around to where they'll sit better on the top of your head. But I have placed them pretty randomly. So when I first start, I kind of do them in a more horizontal fashion, but I kind of like to do them in all kinds of different crazy directions so that it seems a little more natural looking, so it's not like the Shirley Temple effect. So I like to make it a little bit more randomized in how I have them sitting. Again, that's just a preference thing. And I just want to say again, it's really important to tightly, if you want your curls to last longer, when you wrap them around that foam, make sure you're pulling really tightly to where the sponge is, you're pulling your hair really tightly so that your hair can really get a good grasp on that sponge. So I'm going to let these sit on for I'm going to probably let them sit on for about a half an hour. You can leave them on as short as 5 or 10 minutes. If you have a little drier hair, you may be able to get away with 5 minutes even. I always suggest before you take them out, you want to blast them with your blow dryer on cool, as cold as you can get it, for at least a minute. You just want to run that over your head. That cool air is really going to set in those curls. So definitely do that before you take them out. If your hair is drier and dries quicker, if it needs to be super fast, seriously 5 or 10 minutes, you'll get a good curl. I like to leave mine in as long as possible just so my curls will be a little more intact. So it just depends on your time frame. But I will be back once I am ready to take these out, and we will go over how to style your hair afterwards. All right, so I've had my curlers in for about 45 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and take them out. Like I said, before you take yours out, make sure you blast them for a good minute with your hairdryer on cool. So I usually start with the little ones. You want to be careful when you take these out to not pull them. You want the curl to fall out easily, so you want to just unroll it. You don't want to pull them out because that's not going to be good for your curl. Between this one and this one, I think I left this one on. I definitely left it on the pod too long because it's still wet. So this you could just curl with a curling iron. I'm probably going to end up putting my front section back, so it would work out okay, but that's just an example of what happens when you leave one of them on too long and it gets too wet. Your curl's going to be like this, which is just kind of blah. So, but you can see the rest of it, you get these really nice bouncy curls all the way around. And what I usually do at this point is smooth out some of the kinks on the top. Like I said, my hair just gets a couple of kinks. So I have my flat iron already hot. So I usually use it just on these parts on the top where you can see that kink going on, just to kind of get that out of there a little bit. That's it. Takes about 2 seconds. That's usually the one little spot that I have an issue with. Okay, so what I do is usually flip my head up, side down. Personally, I do this before I put any hairspray in my hair, and I'm just going to separate out just a little bit, literally using one finger because I don't want to separate them too much. That's, again, just my preference. Some people like to leave them in, or leave them completely curled without separating them. Some people like to brush it out, just to, again, depends on what kind of look that you're going for. So I am going to get this guy out of the way. But again, you can just see the nice curls that it makes. I mean, these things are amazing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and style it up like this. I frequently kind of do the little bump, and all I do is take it, twist it, push it up to make a little bump. And then I just crisscross 2 bobby pins. Right there, and honestly, this is pretty much my finished look for this right now. And then I'm just gonna do a spray. Pretty much it. Again, I'll give you a view here of the finished product. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions about that process, feel free to comment below. And I'll also put a link to Amazon where I got my original starter kit. And I forgot to mention that you can order individual sizes. Once you get your starter kit that comes with, I think, 5 or 6 of most of the sizes, you can actually go on and order more. Like I ended up ordering, I think, 5 or 6 more of almost all of them again, so I have a full stock on hand depending on the length of my hair. Super inexpensive, and they're probably going to last a really long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.